Hello class, and welcome to this Bart vs. the Space Mutants walkthrough right here on Video Games 101 by way of Let's Play with Brigands. I'm your instructor, Professor Brigands, and why is Marge wearing an orange dress? They clearly have green. Maggie's wearing her trademark green. But I digress. This is one of the more challenging titles on the NES. I'll go ahead and say that. I may take some criticism for this, but I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, which on the frustration scale equates to writhing around on the floor cursing in tongues. Now, I could be convinced that this is actually an 8 out of 10, but I don't think I would go lower than that. The platforming sections of this game are incredibly difficult. The gameplay, the controls are not that good, and that adds to a lot of the challenge. We'll talk about that as we get into the controls in a moment. And they only give you 2 hits per life. There are a decent number of opportunities to add more lives to your total, but yeah. If you're coming into this game fresh, haven't had a lot of experience with it, it's very challenging. That's how it was for me growing up. And actually, I'm looking to get a little revenge here with this class, because this is one of those games I never could beat as a kid. It's an interesting game in that there's a lot of quirks, a lot of little secrets that if you know about them, they make the game a lot more manageable. So that's what we're going to share with you in this Bart vs. the Space Mutants walkthrough today. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll be able to take this game down with a lot greater ease. So let's run the intro and get into it. Alright, we don't normally do this, but this first level has a lot to cover, so we're going to bring in Blaze early to talk about the items that are specific to the first level so that we can have a better idea of what we're doing as we're playing through the levels. So let's bring in Blaze early. Blaze, what do you got for us?
Alright, let's talk about the items you can buy on the first level here in Bart vs. the Space Mutants. First, you have the key, which you can use at the end of the level at the nursing home to get back to Moe's. Sort of a warp back to the beginning of the stage. If you missed some purple things, you still need to do some painting. This is a fast travel back to the beginning of the level, so use this on the door to the nursing home. Never knew, watching seasons 1 through 10 of The Simpsons, that the old folks home connects to Moe's Tavern, but there you go, you learn something new every day. Secondly, we have the wrench, a single-use item just used to clean the awning. You don't need this, there's plenty of other opportunities of things to clean up, but it looks kind of cool, it's kind of fun to use it. Next, we have the cherry bomb. Use this to scare the bird in the pet shop, another single use. Next, we have the fireworks. Multiple uses. I recommend picking up 5 of these, maybe even 6. Fluff's going to talk a bit about something you could do with this as well, but the professor's going to cover all the different places you can use the fireworks to get some more purple things out of commission. Then we have the whistle. We can use this at the very end, the final window at the nursing home. Blow this, Grandpa's gonna throw some coins out the window. Quite nice. And then finally we have the magnet. You buy it now, you might be wondering, Blaze, what do we use this for? It's gonna come up in level 3. Fluff is gonna talk about it once we get there, but there you go, the items you can purchase on the first level of Bart vs. the Space Mutants.
Alright, thank you very much, Blaze. Yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way. I'm not sure why Bart looks so angry. Maybe it's because he knows about the aliens and no one else believes him, but he doesn't turn his head to acknowledge them in that opening screen, so I don't know. But make no mistake, there are space mutants in this game. It's in the title. They're taking over the bodies of normal people. There you go. We really are space mutants, planning to rule the Earth. And Bart sees it as the appropriate reaction, I suppose. And in the first level, the objective is to turn everything purple, not purple, so we can spray paint them red. We can cover them up in some cases. There's different ways to deal with it, which we'll cover. But let's take a look at the controls now, the questionable controls for Bart vs. the Space Mutants. You can see it all there, but I think my main issue is with the fact that you have to hold down A to run, which is also jump, which means you can't run unless you jump first. Now there's also a mechanic where if you hold B after jumping, you can jump at running speed, but honestly I just think it would have been a lot easier, made a lot more sense if you could just hold down B to run constantly, and then, you know, maybe make sure that you're not holding an item at that time to not use it, like the spray can. We use B to use that as we spray paint this sign right here. We'll go back and hit this fire hydrant. I think Fluff has a fact about the movie theater showtimes here, so let's go to him early for a Fluff fact.
You may have noticed that the showtimes at the movie theater at the start of the level show 2 and 4 p.m. If you wait until 200 or 400 seconds left on the clock, someone wearing purple will emerge from the theater, giving you an opportunity to pick up another goal and annoy someone whose eyes haven't fully adjusted yet to the light.
I agree, that's pretty rude. What's also rude is pulling one of your coins out and then using it here on this payphone and prank calling Mo Sislak at the bar right there. And there's a guy with a purple t-shirt, we can spray that. They'll get angry if you do that and they'll charge at you after a moment, so just keep that in mind. Note the 1-up right there. There's plenty of opportunities to turn things from purple. Always use those glasses by hitting start once you have them selected. You can bounce on the enemies' heads. Make sure you only do that when you've confirmed they're an alien, otherwise you'll take damage from a normal person by doing that, so like that guy. Alright, we can hit up here and enter the tool world. Grab a wrench, grab a key. You don't have to buy either of those things, but I saw Blaze talk about them. It is fun to spray down the awning there. Wet paint, I guess that's the clue that we can clean that up pretty easily. Grab 1 cherry bomb, and I think Blaze said 5 of these rockets, so let's buy those. You an alien, sir? There we go. Die. Once we, you see we get a letter for one of our Simpsons family members. Our sister Maggie in this case. If you fill up their name, then they will be there to aid you in the boss fight at the end of the level. Most of the time it doesn't really make that big of a difference, but might as well get the points. Then we'll buy the whistle and the magnet. Like Blaze said, we're going to use the magnet a little later on, but and we can use that whistle if we want to get some coins from Grandpa at the end. But coins are kind of meaningless after a certain point in this game. You're never in need of coins, let me put it that way, but as we take a look now at the Briggs notes for Bart versus the Space Mutants, this is one of those games where it's really just, the main thing is to follow this guide. Hold B whenever you jump, and hold A on the ground. Always be running, basically. Just like the candy store, we can't go in the pet store. Drop the cherry bomb right about here to scare the purple bird. It's not like we killed it, we just scared it away. It still exists, but I don't know why we can stand on the windows of these doors, but there you go. Got another alien. We're already at Mag with the double G. And this will bring a police officer who's clad in purple out if we step on the grass there. And then we drop a rocket right about here in front of this bush. That'll get you perfect spacing to hit the bird or scare it away. There's just a lazy reference to... There's Jebediah Springfield and everything. Once we're on the skateboard, watch out for the 4 pairs of dogs, and then they alternate up and down with the aliens. Grab more spray paint. You don't really need that much in this level, if you're careful. Watch out for Jimbo. I like to stay at the top of the screen and just kind of vary my speed up a little bit. And then pretty much you only have to deal with him twice if you're keeping a decent amount of speed. You'll see there's some coins in some of these bushes, but there's also the occasional bee, so be careful. Got purple sign at Barney's Bowl-O-Rama, so let's rocket this to a more pinkish color right there. That's how we turn it on, apparently. I always thought rockets were meant to destroy, or at the very least, make things stop working, but in this case, the opposite holds true. And there's our final alien. You can take out any more aliens that you see, it's just points at this point. Plenty of coins. Again, we never need coins. But... Then we got the nursing home coming up here at the end. There's plenty of windows we can hit. I think there's 3 or 4 windows, so like I said, you should be pretty good on the goals at this point. Get that window. And we'll have just enough with the 5 fireworks to hit the rest of these windows here. If you missed anything, like Blaze explained, you can use the key here. Actually, Fluff, can you show us how that works so I don't have to actually go back to the start of the level?
As Blaze mentioned, the key can indeed be used to jump back to the start of the level to grab any goals you missed. And the whistle can earn you 8 or 9 coins from Grandpa Simpson at the last window.
Thank you very much, Fluff. Now let's go to our boss expert, Gary, for the first boss.
It's Scary Gary's Boss Beaters. Alright, Nelson Muntz, you want to stay on the left side of the screen and then jump and move left when Nelson throws his projectiles at you. Otherwise, keep firing when you have the window open to you. And I'd like to point out, if you've unlocked Maggie and she's there throwing bowling balls to help you out, just ignore them. It's just going to mess with your jumping pattern, your rhythm. Focus on avoiding his attacks. Your attacks that you have they work just fine. You don't need the bowling balls, but that's how you take Nelson down.
Alright, thank you very much, Gary. We're off to the mall now. We need to collect hats for a change. I like how they change it up. It would have been very boring if you just had to turn everything from purple to other colors for the whole game. There's plenty of hats here, though, so don't worry about running to catch every single hat that you see. I mean, you know, if it's on the screen, pick it up, but we'll have plenty of opportunities to pick up hats on this stage. Fluff has a nice little tip for us, actually. Nice variety of hats as well. As we get into some of the tricky platforming here, it's just, you know, the controls are very, they could be tighter, I suppose, is the best way. Note that Bart has a little bit of hang time as we jump on these, I don't know, floating chocolate bars. But look how tight these windows are. Make sure you hit these lollipops when they're anywhere but up or down. If you hit them at an angle, they will correct for you, but yeah, the cement is an instant death. Grab another hat here. Not worth taking damage to grab a coin at this point in the game. We're only going to need coins, I think maybe one more time on the next level, so we'll have plenty of opportunities to get more coins. Watch out for these barber poles, these candy cane things. 52% off. Alright, mini boss, Scary.
Boss Beaters. The hat guy, mini boss, here in the mall. You just want to jump on his head immediately following his attack. Make sure you prioritize dodging his attack, get the timing right, and just repeat it. You'll take him down.
Thanks, Gary. I want to point out there's a couple secrets at the start of this next floor here. Fluff?
The first 2 ash cans on the second floor contain useful items. Holding down on the first will both defy your understanding of space and add 5 more hats to your goal total. Jumping on and off the second can repeatedly will cough up a number of coins, hats, and extra life, and some strange signs which are worth a coin each.
Alright, thank you very much, Fluff. Again, don't really need the coins, and there's plenty of hats before the end of this level. Some of them you have to go out of your way to not pick up, like this one right here, so unless you really wanted to jump over that shoe. By the way, aggressive shoes that attack you, yeah, that's a fun enemy. I don't know. They all have their own different movement patterns, though, so that's kind of fun. We're not collecting shoes, though, even though that looked like something we could pick up. We're just here for the hats. Shoes turn out to be enemies here. The 10-gallon hat right there. There's spring shoes. Novelty that never caught on. The Michael Jackson moonwalking shoes. And then speaking of shoes, Gary?
Boss, the shoe guy. Jump on his head and just make sure you avoid getting stepped on. It's kind of hard to get hit by the shoe, actually, but focus on jumping on that head. When he comes down, you'll take him down.
Thank you very much, Gary. Nice variety of hats, I have to say, on this floor, or on this level. Got fedoras and 10-gallon Texan hats, sea captain hats, football helmets, all types. We can even knock them off people as they walk by, off their heads. Don't have to worry if they're aliens or not, just jump up. instead of jumping on their head, and you'll flip it off that way. And let's see. So yeah, note the jump over the bottom half and then slide under the top half of these bag ladies. Grab another one up here. We're doing pretty good on lives right now. It's very easy though, I have to say, as we get 2 more hats right there. It's very easy to just go through a whole bunch of lives on on some of the platforming parts where you can fall into pits and things like that. So you can go from having 9 lives to game over very quickly if you're not careful. So as I continue to defend the 9 that I gave this game, it's at 8 or 9, I round up. We have even smaller windows to land on here with these floating magician's wands. I should point out that if you do manage to get 9 lives, jump through the hoops right here, the rings, any lives you get above that will count. So if you have more than 9 lives and you die, it'll still show 9 on the counter. So that's nice. All these hats are just gravy at this point. We have enough to complete the level. And I think all these magic wands and everything are leading us to some... I think we just have another hat guy, essentially. But he has kind of more magical moves. Same basic idea. I'll spare Gary from having as we take our first damage, I believe, of this game. Kind of looks like Skinner a little bit, actually. Maybe it is, I don't know. A lot of people in this game look like Skinner. Skip that hat, we got plenty. And I think it's actually the boss of the level now, so let's throw it back to Gary.
Boss beaters. The babysitter. Remember her from like season 1? Well, here she is. And to attack her, to beat her, you're gonna move left and right to avoid the suitcase. As she drops, Marge will help you out up top, but mostly you're gonna be doing most of the heavy lifting here. If she drops a suitcase, just make sure you're always moving to avoid it and jump on it. Every now and then it's gonna hit her. A few of these will take her down.
Thank you very much, Gary. And I get, I know Marge wants to be protective of her kids, but we kind of need those suitcases to drop down so we can fire back at the babysitter. But thank you, Marge. Thank you, Mom. We love you. All right, so we're moving on. 40% the way through this game. There's 5 levels. I'm gonna do the math for you there. We're going to Krusty Land. This time we need to either pop or collect balloons. Either goes to your total. And this is fun. There's things you can interact with here. Like I like going in the shops when I was a kid. I looked like Skinner as well. Killing a lot of Skinners. So we can play these mini games by using our coins. Sorry, bub. Try again. This one's actually easy if you just make sure that you hit it really at the top of your hang time, or just as you feel yourself about to get to the top of your jump. Just hold down that jump button for the full jump, and then it's easy to knock out the top row, and we get a 1-up for that. And we can do we can actually cheat at the number selection game. Actually, let's try this first. This one's fun. The red ducks are worth the most points. 40 apiece. Here we go. Just gotta get 100 points, and you get another 1-up and some coins, I believe. We're doing pretty well on lives right now. But Blaze kind of referenced this earlier. Fluff, why don't you show us how to cheat at the numbers game?
If you picked up the magnet in the first level, switch to and use it by the number game, then pick any number to win yourself an extra life.
There you go. And I hit 3 balloons while that was going on, so we got our extra life there. Let's try it without it. Go for 2. Maybe we'll get lucky. Just having the magnet is not enough. Yeah, right. There you go. That's fine. We got plenty of lives. More of our balloons that we need to grab. Be very careful. Hold down that jump button to run. Again, that's a lot of the difficulty in this game. It's just... took some damage there. It's just, let's wait to get this one. This game would be a lot easier if holding down B allowed you to run. Just something about not having separate buttons to control the running and the jumping. And again, when you're jumping, you can use... We jump off here to hit the the Superman. Just get ourselves some coins. Also dropped a invincibility thing over on the left. Jebediah head. You can pick that up. Just a couple aliens come out of these windows here. Yeah, it makes no sense, I guess, is the drop that guy in the water for really no benefit. He's just not shooting us anymore. Yeah, this game would be closer to a 7. Probably if the controls were just a little bit different, and it's not even something you can remap. That was close. Obviously. Since it's always tied to the jump button. But anyway, plenty of balloons to get in this one as well. They just kind of appear. So if you hit the end of the level and you still don't have the ones that you need. Alright, so we got a bit of a puzzle here. Let me show you. Are you familiar with this puzzle before? Where each of the different doors opens or affects the closing and openings of other doors. So I think relatively quick way to do that is, there you go. And the 5 does the kind of the plus sign for all the ones around it. But if you do that in the time they give you a couple of balloons, which are also on the clock. But anyway, so this, it's a lot safer to just float your way. It goes left to right in that straight pattern. Trying to jump is not a good idea, because as soon as the air catches you, it's very close there. You can grab those coins as they're popping up too, but yeah, it's the air will catch you as you try to jump, and you'll lose your momentum. So a lot of guys want to kill us. The aliens controlling all these people? I suppose they are. We saw the intro. There's a 1-up if you ride this red elevator down. Got Krusty's creepy eyes right there. And we can just transition to the right over here. Watch out for more of these little guys. There's more balloons to be had. And plenty of slingshots. Should have a decent amount of ammo at this point. Ooh. Thread that needle. We need a few more balloons. We're close to the end. They're pretty generous though. They keep floating. And be very careful with this jump here. Yeah, the hitboxes, for lack of a better, just the target area where you can actually land is very unforgiving. If you need a couple more balloons, I think we might have a couple float by on the right, but Fluff, we also have a trick here.
Similar to the first level where you could warp back to the start, you can hold down on the final tent to jump back to the first tent. Repeating this will allow you to warp between tents on this level to pick up anything you've missed.
Thanks, Fluff, and let's go to Gary for Sideshow Bob.
Boss, Alright, Sideshow Bob. Bob has such a hard time hitting you, in fact, that I feel like maybe I should be putting together a guide to help him on how to get hits in on Bart. Because, yeah, he really is that easy, and it's objectively difficult to get hit by Bob in this fight. Just jump on his shoe a few times, you'll take him down. Bob, what's going on there?
Yeah, I'm not sure what our hitbox is for Bob. That's kind of silly. Anyway, while we're moving on to the next level, let's finally get an overview on the rest of the items of this game with Blaze.
Alright, now let's talk about some of the more basic items you'll use throughout the game. You'll find throughout the game, pick them up, not limited to the first level. So first we have the X-ray glasses, which allow you to see who's an alien and who is a normal citizen of Springfield. We can use this to see the crazy Medusa-like heads jump on their heads to get letters, which we can populate to get a member of the Simpsons family on our side for the boss. Then we have the coins. We can use these to prank call Mo, buy items in this first level, play the games in the third level, and 15 of these earns you an extra life. Then we have the Krusty Head token, which is an extra life. There is no cap. It maxes out at 9 on the screen, but note that you have more of these if you die after that. And then finally, the head of Jebediah Springfield grants you temporary invincibility. There you are, the items of The Simpsons Bart versus the Space Mutants.
Thank you very much, Blaze. Better late than never, right? Sorry about that, but anyway. Another instant death if we fall into the sand. or the water that's coming up here, so be very careful. Some really nasty platforming on this stage. Jump on the crocodile head. That's it's a familiar one right there. Kind of similar to what was it, Rockin' Cats, I guess we did that. As they're dropping things on top of us. Very tight windows to land here. I think we have one of those Jebediah heads coming up on display. You saw earlier when we got that one up, you just have to jump on the glass a few times to get it to pop out. Got these monkeys climbing. We can take them down with 3 shots on. There we go, 3 shots. Plenty of dart guns to use, which is not really that necessary of an item in this level, save for hitting a couple of those exit signs. Lots of spiders. We have a really nasty mini-boss coming up here, actually. More difficult than the normal bosses, if you ask me, but guess you gotta get off before we can jump on this guy's head. Sort of a mini-boss. I don't know, the screen wouldn't move without him, but only need a few exit signs, so that's nice for a change. We jump on this glass and maybe shoot to the left to get it. Can I not make that jump? Alright, there we go. Just mind the squid right there. 1, 2, there we go. Use this temporary invincibility. And the laser beams, the security beams, or whatever you want to call them, that will do damage to you, always adhere to the same pattern. I mean, the same for what they are. They don't try to trick you out. It's always the same 4 combination, or 2 in this case. This part's a little sneaky. Wait for the red tiles to appear. These are the only ones that you can jump on. If you just go for the gray, you will fall through and lose a life. Just gotta wait for them to appear, Mega Man style. The only thing that's missing is that sound effect. Kind of sounds like our jump sound effect, actually. We need to go back a little bit here. Probably could have made that jump, but just in the interest of preserving our no-death streak, which I'm noticing might be compromised by the timer, actually. Not a normal death. Just sort of a ran out of time try again. A little cheap. I don't know why that's seemingly going so fast in this particular level. I guess we just didn't get nearly as much time to start as we normally do. But yeah, that's a little crazy. Hopefully we can get to some sort of checkpoint before then, because I know this level's quite a bit longer than that timer allows for. Mind these. It's sort of like something out of a Double Dragon game. So this part's a little tricky. You need to get 6 of these symbols to raise this little platform in the ground. And then there's a certain combination. I think it's 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, I believe. You want to hit this one, and then the final one is right here. And if you miss one, you just keep going. But once you have all 6, you just stand on that and let it come down and watch your time run out, apparently. That's cheap. If I don't die again, I'm still going to count this as a no-death run, because however little time they gave us for this level, it's just stupid. It's not enough. We're just gonna... Yep, there we go.
Eat my shorts.
Eat my shorts. And now we get 800 seconds. Alright, so I just looked it up, and apparently you do get 300 seconds for your first life. And I have to assume it was a glitch, because it's basically impossible to do this particular level in less than 300 seconds, so I don't know. We still have a ways to go before we even get to the boss, so yeah, it's, I have to imagine, yeah, it's just some sort of glitch in the game, or maybe not a glitch, but they just designed it that way by mistake, because, yeah, that's, pretty silly. But anyway, we press on. Grab another invincibility here, another Jebediah head. stop off for the 1-up. We're doing alright at this point. Alright, we're coming up on that very frustrating mini-boss. First, we have to do some really awful platforming here. It's all about perspective right there. You can jump when it's a bit higher up, you know, further away, but yeah, it's tough to line that up. That's where I recommend doing it. This is the hardest stretch when it comes to the jumps in this game. Just the second half of this level. The platform's just so tight, and Bart just moves so sluggishly, for lack of a better channel for that, alright. And because of the way that the game is designed, as we take some damage there, we can't jump without firing our gun. I mean, you can hit A first, but then you don't get quite as much speed on that jump, so it's just stupid that it's designed to basically make you waste ammo. Not that we need it, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just poor game design. But anyway, rant over. Gary?
Boss the Dinosaur, a very cheap mini-boss, I have to say. First, don't move, and you'll avoid taking damage from him, so make sure you're not moving when he fires, and he pretty much can't hit you. Secondly, note where you can climb up. It's kind of hard to see. They didn't do you any favors. It's really poorly designed, but I digress. Jump on his head. Be careful where you land, so go for that window when he's not attacking you, climb up that ledge that's hard to see, and jump on his head. Then that's when you get the attack in, then wait for the boss to attack, drop back down, and repeat. But again, you have to be very careful about where you land on his head, otherwise you can fall to your death very easily against this very cheap mini-boss here in Bart vs. the Space Mutants.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I misjudged the jump to get on his head. It's a very unforgiving window there. Oh, Marvin Monroe, Gary.
Boss Marvin Monroe. You want to stay close, jump on his head repeatedly, avoid the sparks. Homer's dropping towels, I think, or something to short out and catch the sparks, but yeah, they don't move too quickly. You can avoid them easily enough, but just get those hits in quick. You'll take him down.
All right, thank you very much, Garrett. See, we have a lot of time left over that time. Thanks for the help, Homer. All right, this is the final level right here. It's important to note we need to get 16 of these radioactive rods, which I guess it's fine to just pick them up and put them in our pants. But, yeah, we need 16 of these to beat the level, and I suppose the game as well, so we can only hold 4 in our pants at a time if we, and then Lisa here with combinations for each floor. There you go, that's handy. Although there's no downside to just guessing random numbers to open the doors, so that's generally what I do, just cycle through all the numbers and keep mashing the button. But when we see Marge, we can hit B, I think it is, and then she'll take any rods that we have on us, and yeah, just keep tapping it. There we go, 14. And we got donuts, which I think we can use to clear the room of enemies, but yeah, when we see Marge, we can hit that button, and she'll take the rods for us. Or we can deposit them ourselves in the basement. But anyway, you go up and down the stairs, or you can take the elevator. Grab another one up. This is the fastest route as far as I know. I've run this a few times. This seems to be the most efficient route. I could be wrong, but yeah, just follow along. And while we're doing this, let's go to Fluff for not a tip about the game for once, but actually a fact about Bart versus the Space Mutants. Fluff?
The Simpsons, Bart vs. the Space Mutants, wasn't even the only Simpsons game to be released for the NES that same year. This came out in North America in April of '91, whereas another Simpsons game bearing Bart's name, The Simpsons, Bart vs. the World, was released December of that same year. Another Simpsons game, Bart Simpson's Escape from Camp Deadly, was even released in between the two games for the Game Boy. Talk about doing the Bart man.
Ah, yes, the early days when everyone thought Bart was the star of the show for that first year or so. That was weird. Remember that class before Homer rightfully took his place as the main draw? But anyway. So let's see if... I think Marge usually shows up around the elevators. If she does, then we can just drop them off ourselves. You can hold B and then move it left and right to pick the floor that you want to go to. So we go down to the basement, we drop them off ourselves, and then we head back up. It's honestly not the worst idea to just do that yourself. I mean, it's annoying, but when we give them to Marge, you'll find that she goes off and sort of, you know, she's like on her own real-time schedule, and it'll show her after maybe 20 seconds or so, showing up in the basement and dropping those rods off, which would be fine, but if you're like in the middle of a tricky jump or something, or you're about to hit an enemy, it can really screw with your timing, so, you know, just something to keep in mind. A lot of times when you give some of these rods to Marge, you might want to maybe, after 15 seconds or so, just get somewhere safe and just wait for the screen to cut away to her. I'm not paying attention really to any of these numbers that Lisa's telling me. Let's go down to the second floor here. And while we're still collecting these, I think Fluff has one more Fluff fact to give us about this game. Fluff, what do you got for... Oh, here we go. My little man, let me take these radioactive rods from you, so hold on, Fluff. Let's see if we can figure out about how long it takes for her to get down there. It might depend on what floor you see her on. I should also mention that Maggie is somewhere here in the plant. If we see Maggie, just make a mental note of where she is, because she'll have basically the final rod. You'll get it from her, and so once you have all other 15 deposited, there she goes. Yeah, see, so it can really mess with whatever you're in the middle of at that particular moment, but so go up to the 5th floor here. So just keep an eye on, Marge just kind of comes and goes, just walking all over the power plant. Just make a note of when you see Maggie, because yeah, she'll have the last one, and once you get that from her, when all the rest are down in the basement, you'll have essentially beaten the game, but anyway, finally, sorry, Fluff, give us one more Fluff fact about Bart versus the Space Mutants.
The developer for the NES and original version of Bart vs. the Space Mutants is Imagineering, with the lead programmer being none other than the longtime and notable video game developer David Crane. We referenced Crane during our recent class on a game which was completely his baby in A Boy and His Blob.
There you go. Check out that class we did somewhat recently. We have the entire playlist for every class we've ever done here on this channel in the description of this video, so you can check that out, and you can find A Boy and His Blob and dozens and dozens and dozens of other classes on the classics, like challenging classics in some case like this. Now, classic, is that too generous a term for this game? It is a fun game, it's just, it's a little bit too hard in some regards. And not I guess like a cleverly designed hard, a satisfying hard. It's a dissatisfying hard for a lot of stretches of this game. 32, there we go. Starting to remember some of these. But yeah, just to harp on it one last time, just give us B as the run, come on. It's simple, when you're designing the controls for a game, something should be obvious. And, you know, maybe it's because developers want to reinvent the wheel or something like that. They want to stand out, be unique with their title. And that's fair. Just, there's better ways to do that. So, but I do like all the different interactions we can do. Going in the shops earlier. Dropping down like in the ash can in level 2. And interacting with the carnival games and all that fun stuff like that. Always thought that was like you'd stumbled on a little secret the first time you realized some of those things when you played this as a kid or played it for the first time. Yeah, this level's more a slog than anything else. It's the final level. There's not even a boss waiting for us at the end of it. Kinda anticlimactic. You think he'd throw down with Mr. Burns or something. I think he's more of the villain in the Bart vs. the World game, but never played that one. That worth checking out, class? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, by the way, please consider doing so to enroll in this class. We do one of these classes every single week. Love to have you aboard. Always playing challenging hits like this one. Just donuts up here. Like I said, bring, I guess, Homer on to clear the room of enemies, or the immediate vicinity. Just thankfully there's no platforming involved, or literal platforming, on this final level. And unless we have a real meltdown here at the end, pun intended, considering we are in a nuclear power plant, I think we're gonna have our no-death run, at least, you know, we have the time one. Little asterisk next to it, I suppose, but still. That's very satisfying after all those years of growing up with this game and playing it and, you know, not really ever getting past probably the mall, if I'm honest, or, no, I guess I got to the 3rd level, but I don't think I ever beat the Krusty Land. I think at that point, I'm sure it's fine we're in there without hazmat suit or anything. I'm sure it's fine. We're a kid. Bounce back. And, trying to think where we're going from here. Let's go 2nd floor. So this works out, we can get 4 more and then drop those off and then just have the final one to get. We need to go to the 3rd floor eventually. Maybe we're on the margin, we can just drop those off with her. Otherwise, just loop back and head back to the basement one more time. This is basically just how they padded out this game a little bit more. It's always a question of, do you go over or try to slot through this particular octopus alien? I think we can take this to the 3rd floor. Yep, just skips the 2nd floor. We still haven't seen Maggie. She's got to be around here somewhere. We've been most everywhere here in the plant. Oh, there she is. Okay. So she'll have the last one, I guess, once we drop off the last 4, and then just have 1 left on the screen. Again, infant holding a radioactive rod. I'm sure it's fine. Thank the rod. You know what? I think I'm getting my Simpsons references mixed up. It's the Swiss Army Knife episode, but I'm thinking more of the inanimate carbon rod. And the James Taylor cameo, that was really nice. One of my favorites when I was a kid. Just gotta get 1 more. Probably to the left here, I think, is the last one. We can jump on one of these canisters. Yeah, there we go. Wonder how many lives we actually have at this point. And there's the last one for our purposes. We're gonna need to deposit these first, so if we don't see Marge, then we're gonna have to make our way back to the basement and then go back to the 3rd floor, I guess, where we saw Maggie. Place is a bit of a maze. You can pull up a map, or like I said, just follow along with this. We've pretty much got it at this point. I don't think she's gonna show up until we drop off the remaining 2. Let's just drop these off in the basement. Take the long journey back. I think I had this on Game Gear, actually. I think I had that port. I mean, it was my Game Gear, I say we, but... So that's mostly where I got frustrated from this game, because it was pretty much a direct, very faithful port of this version of the game. Very challenging. And they didn't fix the controls from what I remember. I think A was still jump/run. And then there's also levels like this where you don't even hold anything. Like you have the spray paint on the first level and I guess the slingshot a bit. There we go, drop those off. Just gotta get the one from Maggie now. We make our way back to the 3rd floor where we saw her. And I guess it was, what, the dart gun, which was, I don't know, kind of a waste on that 4th level, except for the fact that it was the only way to hit some of those exit signs. But yeah, you know, there's also levels like this where you're not even holding anything, so B is just going to waste for the most part, except for interacting with floors and things like that. Gonna take this back to the elevator, and then once we get it, ooh, alright, hold on. We won't even have to worry about an asterisk if we take a quote-unquote proper death. And the game just ends once we see Maggie. Come on, where are you? We might just need to go left or right to kind of spawn her out. There we go. And just kind of shove her. Oh, it was her pacifier, apparently. That makes no sense. Or she just kind of put that in. And, I don't know, that doubles as a very radioactive rod. Save Springfield. Terrible ending, by the way. Might be wondering what that idea is. Was it a teaser for another game? A lame one at that? Hold on. 6 months later, the family makes a stop on their summer vacation. Mount Rushmore, there you go. The new Mount Rushmore. Bart just, yes! Throwing his arms up. Very close to the cliff's edge right there. It's like you really gotta trust your family. Or, you know, Maggie to not be like, oh, there's my brother, let's give him a hug, and he falls to his death. What a dark way to end this one. Still weird seeing Marge in the pink dress, when clearly she was wearing green at this point, and they had the color with Lisa, and then they swapped all the yeah, that doesn't make sense. Lisa wears orange. Anyway, terrible ending. Okay, game. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you. And check the description of this video to see what song is playing right now.